or is
we're
it just the money?
We'll talk. Right, Freddie?
Right.
What's up, beautiful people? It's your boy Keanu Banks in the building with the Neapolitan United Colors of Bennington up in here. This is y'all want to talk about it, so we're gonna talk about a bunch of stuff today.
Is that why I'm here? Because you needed a white guy to make
Yeah,
it?
y'all needed a token. Welcome to my world. I'm token everywhere outside these four walls. So you feel all right?
I'm good. That's fine. Whatever you
Got
need.
the police on speed dial. So my boy Dino, the barber extraordinaire in the building. Chad, CEO, Freddie B, CEO, management, Air Canada.
That's me, Air Canada.
That's it.
Yeah.
So that's Freddie B. That's the squad. Anyways, so before we got on here, we was talking about life and quarantine and being bored and all that stuff. And the topic came up of, even though this is technically a week late, we watched Nate Robinson get knocked out. Some of us.
Indeed.
And now apparently Floyd Mayweather is supposed to fight Logan Paul. And so how do y'all? I mean, I'm gonna be honest. To me, I'm like, it's a money grab.
Mm-hmm.
So
People are figuring out how to make money without having to do too much.
here's what I was gonna say. I mean, because Jake Paul called out some other fighters after he won, right? Like he's like,
He did. He said he wanted to fight Conor McGregor or
Right,
something,
okay.
which would still give him the business.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. Absolutely. But here's the thing. If you're an amateur and you go and you win your first fight, you don't go from fighting some tomato can guy to fighting Floyd, right? You don't go from.
That's the 1-2 skip a few.
Yeah, you can't. Whatever. I understand he's going to get paid a whole bunch of money and it's going to be a big pay-per-view event and Floyd's going to kick his ass, right? But that's not how that works. He shouldn't just go right from the beginning to end, right? You know what I mean?
Well,
I agree, but I feel like that's the world. We talked about this in a different aspect, and not to cut you, but in a different aspect, right? I was telling Chad and some other people, like, I used to do modeling stuff, like, but I had to go to auditions, and like, you had to work. I couldn't just, and I'm not knocking millennials or social media. I think it's great, but it's like you're missing part of the journey because I had to go stand in a room like this and walk up and have 3 people sitting at the table looking at me like, okay, do this. Now say this. Now do that. Turn to the right. And then they decide like, okay, we want that guy or we don't want that guy.
Right.
Where now it's like, oh, we think that doesn't make sense. You got 2 fights, which neither are really professional. And now you want to skip a few all the way to Floyd Mayweather. And I feel like that's across the board. Oh, I'm a model. Where you model at? Instagram?
Right. Well, you missed the. I think in our era, like for example, for me coming right, like sneakers has always been a big thing, right? So like, but the part of the sneaker game and becoming a sneaker fanatic or a shoehead, a sneakerhead or whatever it was called, it was the hunt, right? So it was the hunt. It was the fact of like somebody got word or it was released, yo, these sneakers is out, and it's like, oh, I gotta figure out how to get to the mall. And then like you catching the bus to get to the mall to wait in line to then find out that they come out and they're like,
catching the bus.
Yo, there's no more, you know what I'm saying? So then you're like, yo, we gotta go to the other mall. So now you got 2 hours on the bus.
It's a journey.
You know what I mean? It was a journey, it was a hunt. And like I feel like nowadays that's kind of taken away because now it's just, yo, let me, yo, I want some sneakers, cool. So you kind of miss, you know what I mean? And I don't know.
Devaluing like the art.
The journey, you know what I mean? I always share it to you, right? Like as a barber, for me, it's the journey, right? Like I'm actually enjoying the journey of becoming a barber. When I listen to people, I've never cared about somebody's success because everybody's success is valued at a different standpoint, right? What's successful to you may not be to you, but what to me is fascinating is the journey that it took to get there. Those moments where you were like, yo, I wanted to quit. You know what I mean? Like when you listen, I bet you if you sat down and listened to Floyd tell his journey, I mean, we've seen it 1,000 times. You saw Tyson's journey with everything going on. That's what made you hungry and want to go for these guys. So yeah, and that, for me to bring it back to that topic, like I think it's low key a little bit disrespectful to call this guy.
But I think that's why.
Yes.
Because what's his name? Antonio Tarver said, Mike Tyson, get me that young boy. He's 52.
Yeah.
He's like, I'll give it to him. We know, like, yeah, man, he'll give him the business. Why? Because how many years of experience is there, right? But then the other side is like, man, it's just a money grab. Y'all know y'all gonna sell tickets. It's a way to make money during the pandemic, and that's what's happening. Like,
but you feeding into that though. Like, I feel like we as a society, we just like, yo, dude talking hella.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Okay, we want to see him get worked out. We're gonna pay the money to go see him worked out. He winning either way. Now he gonna blow up again. It's like,
right, but that's what I'm saying. I was telling Freddie B, I'm like, these people are, I'm not saying they best friends.
right.
I'm saying they're business friends.
Yes.
Like, hey, we gonna fight and we gonna make, if we do it this way, we gonna make this amount of money. You see, I'm old school because I hold the phone like this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a phone for some of y'all don't know. That's how
Why
it
you
used
got
to
a
be.
banana up to his face? What is he doing?
I'm supposed to just be talking with the AirPod, but yeah, so that's what part of me feels like that. I mean, and we watched the fight. And there was no disrespect. Everybody say, oh, you disrespect Nate Robinson or whatever. I'm like, no, I'm from Washington. It wasn't no disrespect. I just from jump was like, man, this dude wasn't ready. He wasn't ready, or whatever he was taught before. Because I did see some. I did see some Instagram videos where I was like, oh, he really was training. He really did have form and technique. And apparently, when he got in the ring, he forgot all of that. As soon as he did the Bill Cartwright jump shot look, I was like, bruh, you about to, there was not one jab, not one nothing. And he didn't even feel dude out. He just went, you know what I'm saying? So that's what happened.
But you can't, somebody you put that thing about Tarver on Facebook, and somebody said, no, you need to get some, don't go get somebody big like Tarver. Go get like Michael Carbajal or somebody like that. Like a little dude, just kill him, right?
Right.
Or like the what's the kid, the new De La Hoya kid, Garcia or something like that. Ryan Garcia.
See the one who just lost the other day?
No, that's Dan Garcia. You talking about Ryan Garcia?
I think so, Ryan. Right? Yeah. He's a pretty boy. He's like, he looks just like De La. I mean, he's tall, long. Bro, get somebody like that.
But
you gotta get anybody good. You go get De La Hoya.
But the reason why they won't do that is because we have to have name recognition.
Yes.
Floyd Mayweather tickets sold.
That's key.
Right.
If you get El Pollo Loco over here, the little homie, and he might be cold. He might be cold, right? And he will 9 times out of 10 work them dudes out for real and embarrass them. But is everyone gonna tune in? Because they like, well, we don't. I mean, I heard, sure. You know what I mean? That's why him and Nate Robinson on the undercard was big. That was right before Tyson Roy. Think about that. Yo, bro, we fought right before Tyson and Roy Jones. You didn't call it disrespect if you want. You didn't earn that spot.
No, absolutely didn't.
That's a spot that is earned. And it's the same thing I see in fitness. Don't give no one no 5 o'clock group fitness time. That's what I'm saying. I had to earn these. I had to audition even in fitness. To get a 5 o'clock spot, you had to be able to bring people and keep them there. And now it's like, you just started teaching? Here's a 5 o'clock. There's no, it's handout.
You don't come right out of barber school and go, this is my chair. I get #1 prime seat in this
right.
You're gonna charge $100 a haircut. That's not the way it works, right?
You got it. And listen, man, it's my situation is a little different in that perspective. Because I was lucky enough to actually come out of school. I mean, I graduated barber school. I was a lot older than most of these, the kids. It's a young man's game. But I came into it and I immediately was charging $40, $50. But nevertheless, that wasn't something that was just given to me. There was many years. There's a lot of backstory behind that a lot of people never knew about. They just saw that as like, your cousin, Manny's the biggest barber in Hawaii, like. That's why you got put on. And it was like, nah, what you guys didn't see was when I was working 12 hours in the military, I was getting off of work, shooting to his shop and just sitting there watching. And I was freaking sweeping up, the hair at the end of the night. There's a lot to the story.
How much you get paid for that?
And I didn't get paid nothing.
Nothing, right.
Nothing.
But people don't see that. And they never, that's across the board.
And that's the thing where for me, I feel like the point I was trying to make before was that I think it's disrespectful, not even to the pros, right? We're not talking about Mayweather and these guys, because these guys, there's nothing that you could do to take down their reign, right? But what I do feel like is disrespectful to that young amateur kid who's fighting day in and day out in those sweat boxes
Right.
that nobody knows. You know what I
Right.
mean? Who's fighting and isn't even considered pro.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They
Yeah.
still talking him. He's an amateur,
Right.
and now you got some dude boy from you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Instagram that blew up. You know what I mean? Who now you're like on national TV. You're saying this guy is pro.
Yeah.
To me, that would be disrespectful. That's like somebody, you know.
Well,
We'll talk about
you
that.
hear the people saying, "Oh, I've been training my whole," and it's like, no offense, it's like, dude trained for what, a year?
A year.
But then Nate Robinson trained for a couple months. And you know, I mean, we do mitts and we not going to fight.
Yo,
but I'm
the
like,
training-
listen,
the
what I've
training-
learned in 6-7 months of just boxing, I'm like, I know you wasn't ready in 3 months, and I don't care if you was an NBA superstar. Respect to that side.
Right.
Because you was the man, like, okay.
But think about how much
but
time you spent
to
to
becoming an
do
NBA
that,
superstar,
right? So
And
it would be
then
the
3 months,
same
yeah.
if they pull this kid off the street because they saw him dunk a basketball and say, "Hey, now you on the Lakers."
Yep.
You would be like, "Bro, he ain't earned that."
Right.
Same
I
thing.
will say that for the kid that you know that is putting in his time and doing his work, and he's an amateur boxer, and isn't getting his shot. These fights that are happening, it's going to bring publicity to the sport because boxing's been dying for a
And
while.
I think that's
So it's going to bring money back in. So eventually it will benefit those young kids. But it does suck. I mean, if I've been training my ass off, making no money, working for years, and I'm stuck at some, like you said, some little shoebox gym, and I see a YouTuber just go get the fight, I'd be pissed.
Yeah.
Me too.
Right. But at the same time, you have to think about
That's a valid point.
what it's going to do for the
That's a valid
sport.
point.
So what do you think is better then? Going through the journey and creating like a legit legacy like a Tyson, Roy Jones, whatever. Or this is the money grab.
So what do you?
And so like, yo, I'm gonna go in there however, but bro, I mean, they made a lot of money.
Yeah.
Well,
And
what
they
do you
about
want?
to Floyd Mayweather.
Do you want the legacy of I'm the greatest fighter ever? Do you want the Tyson legacy?
That's what
or
I'm
the
saying.
Mayweather legacy? Or do you just want the money?
which
If you
one
just
is-
want the money, go get the money, whatever, right?
But see,
But
I
that
think,
money temporary. Like
Yeah.
to me, you going. It's just like you got a 9 to 5, right? You working and you saving every check. That you appreciate that money more versus somebody coming and just saying, "Here's $1 million."
Absolutely.
Yeah, or like winning a lotto.
No
Yeah,
question. How many of those people are
They go
are
broke.
back to jail?
Back broke.
Right, yeah, because they don't know. But those guys aren't trying to create a legacy. Those Paul brothers, they're not trying to create a legacy.
so that's what I was
Right.
just about to touch on is that, like, again, this generation, and it's not a knock to them. Like, there's a lot of it that I actually like. You know, I read a post recently that talked about, you know, the 90s era, right? Like how those who grew up in that era or lived through that era is really truly the last, you know what I mean? It's like, because you were essentially the bridge between the old generation, right? And how they did things, like they just kind of did things and that was it, versus the newer generation that kind of like is asking or they're thinking further ahead, right? So to answer that question from my perspective, I don't think these kids nowadays are really concerned about legacies, or they don't care. Like, to them, they don't understand what it means to be the baddest man on the planet. They don't understand what it means
Yeah,
to
they
be.
do. I got 36 million
Yeah,
followers
it's-
on YouTube.
yeah,
That
yeah.
makes me the
Yeah,
baddest man on the
absolutely.
planet, right?
That's their version
Yeah,
of it.
that's
That's
their
their version
yeah,
of it.
yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you can't, like, to them, if it's not that, if it's not in that arena, they don't care. They're just chasing the money. They're just trying to, quote unquote, secure the bag.
Right.
You know what I mean? So all respects to it. But then I guess, I don't know, I guess I'm an old head in the sense that, like, if that's the case, cool. But like, you're taking away from the sport, the pureness of the sport.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's like, for me, I've always said it, man. I'm a huge soccer fan. A lot of people don't like soccer because of that. But to me, it's like, it's such a beautiful sport. But if you don't understand it and understand why guys like Lionel Messi is the greatest, you know what I mean? Or Cristiano Ronaldo is the greatest, or why, you know, Maradona, who just died, you know what I mean, was so impactful into these sports because of the journey, man. Like, you have to go, but you, again, in today's society, they don't really care about that. It's like, what? Man, I ain't got time to hear all that. Why do you think the music? Listen to the hip hop industry. You know what I mean? We went from the art of telling stories,
Right.
you know what I mean, and telling people's lives and what they went through day to day, to where
Right.
now it's just, you know what I mean?
As long as the beat is cool.
as long as the beat is
I don't
cool,
care what,
and-
I don't care what you
and
say.
and the hook is fire,
Right.
and it's catchy, and it's got that melody to it, that's all they care. It's a hit.
Right.
You know what I mean? But then, you know, I mean, look at, and that's the difference. So when we hear a Biggie song or a Tupac or, you know, whoever, a Beatles.
Neil Diamond.
Neil
Yeah.
Diamond.
Yeah. Fuck you. Hey, thanks a lot, Dino. Thanks.
You know what I mean?
Thanks a lot.
You know?
But no, in all
Johnny
sincerity,
Cash.
Johnny
Yeah,
Cash.
right. Yeah, that's right. Take your shots, boys. Go ahead.
I mean, you from Cat Drake though.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Canadian. Thanks.
But, you
I
know,
tried to bring
it's,
you up.
Thanks. It's not.
I
it's
tried,
not-
Freddie.
He's already living on
he
fire.
went there.
And you're going, but
I
Drake,
thought
maybe.
people said, yeah, maybe Drake. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
man. But, no,
But that comes with, I think, this comes with time and it changes. So like,
The
you
era.
know, people always, oh, you hating, and no, I'm not hating. I think social media is great, and you're right about being like raised or growing up in the 90s versus like now, because we still had to, you better be in the house before the street lights come on. And now we have, this is social media.
Yep.
And we can compare both.
Yep.
Like, man, remember when we used to play outside?
Yep.
Da, 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 da.
Facts.
And now it's like, man, people don't have that. So
Right.
the entertainment is entertainment.
Yeah.
That's what this is now.
Yep.
So we're like, why would Mayweather fight this nobody?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, it's entertainment, and it's gonna make money.
Yep.
So,
Floyd- Floyd
and
not
my
doing
only thing was when old boy started calling out people after the fight.
Yeah.
Like that's when I was like, whoa. But that's a marketing
But that's all marketing,
strategy
right? He's
too.
just trying to make
and
money.
now here we are talking, so it's working.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I mean?
We're part of it.
And it's the same as, well, go ahead.
No.
It's the same as one of the other things I want to talk about was the Ball family.
Oh yeah.
You want to talk about marketing genius?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
The man said I could beat Michael Jordan. People woke up out their sleep. Who said they could beat Jordan one-on-one? And now look, fast forward what? That was what, 4 or 5 years ago?
Yeah.
When he said all three of my boys will be in the league, and everybody laughed. And here they are,
Right.
all three.
I'll be honest with you. I'm guilty of it. 'Cause,
All
like, when I
three?
saw him come out, I'm like, my favorite, to me personally, man, I think I always said it. I felt like the middle brother, Jello, was
He's
always,
cold.
I always felt like he was the best. And I felt like if his dad, I don't know the story, so I won't speak on it. But what I'm saying, when he left UCLA, that's where I felt like I was like, yo, because if he would have stayed, I think he would have been a top pick and he would have been a solid player.
Right.
But
Journey.
the journey, right? I didn't believe in it, and I was like, yo, like, nah, this dude's talking crazy, yo, this dude's OD, like, get him off the air. But then when you shed light on that, you know, and then throughout the years you watch it, I'm like, yo, like you can't do nothing but tip your hat off to this man, bro. Like
People would
you
kill
did
to
what you
have
had.
a father
Yes.
believe in them that much.
Yeah,
He's legit.
Like, oh, he over the top. I'm like, but you need that.
Yeah.
Because we always talk, oh, I got haters and people did this or my coach didn't do that or whatever.
yeah.
And then you got this guy that's like, man, I'm gonna pump you up to the point where
Yeah.
everybody gonna believe.
Yeah.
That, like, and it's not like the boys didn't put in work. It's not like they can't play.
Well, you
So
said
you ain't
something-
talking about like trash
You
players.
said something the other day when we were talking about it was, it's interesting because his kids aren't built the way he was, right? We talk
Right.
about generational
'Cause
changes,
he-
right?
yeah.
He came from a different era, right?
Yeah.
But it's interesting because you touched on it, and I was like, yo, the light clicked in on me, and I was like, that's so true. He hyped them up and got all eyes on these kids, and then turned around and said, hey, I got the Wolves after y'all. Y'all better not let this down. You know what I mean?
Right.
So in a sense, not only did he did most of the legwork to get them known and get them, publicized. Like everybody, all eyes were on these kids, which is something that we talk about. A lot of coaches, a lot of people, AAU tournaments, they only invest on people who are putting money into it or whatever. So now you got this dad who said, I'm gonna do it myself. Did it, brought the light and the attention to it, but then turned around and told Zoe, sorry, man, because them boys they were after his head.
Yeah.
They were after Zoe, like, yo, like, okay, bring that ass up in here, bro. Let me show you what real work is.
Right.
Okay.
And,
So
you
let
know-
me ask you a question. LeVar shuts up. He never says anything. The kids still do all the work. Are they first round draft picks in the NBA?
No.
Nope. They probably top 10.
Top
they
10.
not. They not top 3. They made history.
They not.
Yeah.
Not. I don't
They
know,
made
man.
history.
Yeah.
And but I had said from jump when I watched their whole high school, whatever, they went undefeated all through high school, whatever.
Right.
I said the youngest one, Melo, is gonna be the coldest one. And I only said that because I'm like, he been playing up. He been playing
been
older
playing his
people,
brothers.
his brothers getting picked on.
His entire life.
I don't watch TV. I watch their show.
Yeah.
Because I wanted more insight. Because lamestream media will say, oh, this guy talks too much. He's ridiculous. And I was like, no, that's just like one of my uncles talking shit. That's what we do.
Yeah.
Now you have to filter like, okay, this dude said never lost. You think he never lost?
Yeah.
Really? But he stands by that, never lost. It is what it is. Cool. So I'm like, well, there has to be more.
You made the
Then
conversation.
I saw, like, wait a minute, he training all the kids in the neighborhood. Y'all not talking about that. He got a kid living in his house who didn't have his parents and whatever, raised him too. You never hear about him. He going to the league too. Like, you don't hear that side. Or his wife had a stroke and then watching him take care of her and say, hey, we still gonna do this thing. I'm in your corner while talking all this. All that was just to get on. He on every top show there is.
Yeah.
Most watched. Oh, LeVar Ball said something else. That's genius. Then I watched his son play out here like 2 years ago, and I was like, yeah, okay. And now he's what, 6'9", 6'7" point.
Nice.
So are they gonna be after him too? Yeah. But that's been the case.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it might take him a couple years or whatever, but I'm with you. I thought structure-wise, Jello built like LeVar and could shoot.
Yeah.
He just
Yeah,
had his
both
little
were too.
mishap. Yeah, he like 6'8", 6'9".
They all
Man.
tall.
But them two was,
Yeah.
but the other two was skinny.
Yeah.
He got he like this one.
He built
That country, fucking
What did he just call
grits
it?
and potatoes.
Hey, man.
Grits and
You know
potatoes.
what I'm saying?
1942, baby.
I'm just saying, I think that a lot of people's complaint, though, is that those kids would have been great players without their dad saying anything. Now, hang on. I understand that all the other shit that LeVar's doing, all the money that he raised, all the kids he's taking care of in the neighborhood, all that other stuff, none of that could have happened if he didn't do it, right? And so people don't see the whole story, everything that he built, right? I understand. I'm just saying, the argument, if you only see that piece, if you're only looking at his kids, is if his kids are really that good, if he didn't say shit, the kids would still be great players. That's the argument.
I think they.
But-
I mean, I think they were. Honestly, I feel like they would have been. I think they would have been good, but I think the way the league is designed, I think they would have fell through the cracks. I mean, how many great players did we know growing up?
Right.
That I mean, these dudes were like stone cold. I mean, just
They call Harold Miner Baby Jordan.
You
And
see
he
what I'm
probably
saying?
work at Target somewhere.
yeah. So that's my point,
He was
right?
Baby
Like,
Jordan, supposed to be.
Right.
But now they got like, I think by him talking, now they got like a spotlight on him, right? And people, ticket sales.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
You know
It's
saying?
It's marketing.
It's marketing.
Yeah.
It's marketing. That's marketing at its finest.
So when Zoe was going to be one of the top picks, the Suns had, I don't know, they were like the 3 pick, right? What did he went 2
He
overall.
went 2.
He went 2 to the Lakers. And the Suns were like, maybe the Suns were 4, whatever. So Suns needed a point guard. So it's all this conversation. Oh, if he falls, should the Suns pick him? You have no idea how many people were like, you can't pick that guy because you don't want his dad. You don't want his dad showing up.
Yes, that was
right.
a big
It was a
thing.
huge topic of conversation about
Right.
that. And to the dad's credit, once the kids were picked, he's like, I'm out,
Yeah,
whatever.
right.
You go do what you need to do. But nobody knew that was going to happen.
They didn't
Right.
because they only watch
Him.
TV that
right.
says, hey, he's this guy.
So, and it didn't turn out to be an issue, right? But the dad actually could have hurt their draft stock just with some of his talk. Right?
Absolutely.
It could have happened, right? The Lakers needed a point guard. There was a lot of things that fell in the right way for him to get drafted there. But there could have been some negative over it. I mean, if you look at it now, LeVar looks like a genius because basically everything worked out, right? He looks like a genius.
I've been saying genius from jump because I believed it. Once I saw them play and I saw how they operate, I'm like, he's right. And it's going to happen. People not going to like it because, unfortunately, people like to see people fail. And, oh, he talks too much. But the people we look at talked a lot. Muhammad Ali talked a lot. Jordan talked a lot.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, yeah.
Larry Bird talked a lot. They could back it up.
Yeah.
Now, these kids have to back up something, but it's not like you look at Zoe and granted, you know, whatever. Like, it's not like you look at him and be like, oh, he can't play. No, he could play.
Well,
He
the
can move.
problem too was that if you look at it, the kids didn't really talk. The kids didn't.
No,
do
the
that.
kids are quiet. They're still
So
quiet.
so in that aspect, it could have also been bad as well. I mean, he took a gamble. Like, you got to respect the fact that he took the ultimate gamble, you know what I mean, on what he did. But it could have backfired because now these kids are having to play with such a heavy burden and expectation because of what he's saying, to where I think that was the issue that a lot of people were talking about with Zoe at the beginning, was that the moment you detach yourself from your dad is where you can start finding yourself and figure out your game. And I think when he had that little fallout, granted, I think he ended up getting hurt, but had he not gotten hurt, he was on the path of like becoming a great. I mean, to me, Zoe from a point guard, right? Like I always grew up loving and idolizing point guard. That kid saw the court and the transition. That is probably one of the greatest, like, in transition point guards. And I know I'm speaking crazy by saying the greatest, but I mean, if you go back and watch him early on, from the moment the ball was off the rim,
Yeah, he goes.
He's great.
he was not only gone, but that ball was gone.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So like, he fed LeBron so many times. You know what I mean? He fed these players from the other side of the court. You never see that because these kids nowadays, everybody want to be, you know, the next Kyrie and run and dribble it all the way up. I mean, this kid would just grab the ball, dribble out the thing, and I mean, before he knew it, was just gone. So to me, I was like, man, this kid, if he can just, his dad was in his head too much, and I think this time around, Pops figured it out, and it's like, all right, I'm gonna talk the talk, and then I gotta back off, right?
I think people thought that he was going to be like Todd Marinovich's dad. Remember that, where he was like the quarterback for the Raiders, he was at USC and stuff like that. And the dad was just pushing him all the time, and the kid just snapped, like, I don't want to do this anymore. And he just went and retired and smoked dope and got arrested, make it through the streets or whatever he did, right?
That's funny.
Remember, whatever. I mean, he was a tremendous fall from grace, right? He was a super talented kid,
right?
But his dad was pushing him so hard. I think people thought it was that kind of a situation, and behind the scenes, it clearly wasn't.
Right.
Behind the scenes, the dad was just like, you know, he knew he had some really talented players that really wanted it on their own. He wasn't pushing them to go get that.
Right.
So that, and it's hard to know that without.
For sure.
Until the first one got in the league and you saw what happened.
For sure.
I'm really curious to see what the other two do. I mean,
I hope they end up on the same team.
Yeah,
Really?
because that's what he's been saying. When I get all three of them on the same team, it's
Well,
going to
what's
be a problem.
interesting is, if I'm not mistaken, I think Zoe has a 1 year. No, Jello got a 1 year deal
With Detroit.
with Detroit, and then I think Zoe has 1 more year to become a free agent.
Right.
But then apparently they were already like talks, and don't quote me on it, but from what I was reading, it seemed like there was talks or something about there was some sort of deal trying to be made for that. Because I mean, at the same time, you look at it like, you gotta think for a second that Jordan's sitting back laughing like, yo, this dude's on to something. Jordan is a businessman. Like at this stage in his life, he's a businessman. So when he's looking at that and he's like, yo, we haven't had ticket sales in Charlotte.
Right.
We haven't done nothing. I can get these guys here.
Jersey sales?
Jersey
Who sells jerseys in Charlotte?
Yeah, man. Besides Muggsy Bogues, that was, and what was the other thing?
Lonzo
Larry
Mourning.
Larry
Johnson, grandmama. Yeah, so we talking 20 years.
yeah.
Easy 25 years ago.
Yeah,
you don't know who that is.
So
I'm the one who said it.
That was before you were born.
he YouTube, man.
Come
YouTube.
on, man.
Nah, we caught Larry
You
Johnson.
caught the end
Yeah,
of
we
it,
caught
the
the
goal
end,
too.
Yep.
But yeah, so that's, I mean, it's I think it's
Who was
business.
the other dude that was
I
on it?
think
Was it Robinson?
Glenn Robinson, Big Dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to love watching
Curry
him.
dad was on that too.
He wasn't selling jerseys though.
But he could shoot.
Yeah, but
we
he
ain't talking
wasn't.
about that.
We talking about business.
Yeah, some jerseys.
And think about it, the same dude who said he could beat Michael Jordan one-on-one, now his son is playing.
It'd be great. It'd be hilarious if he had all three of his sons playing.
I mean,
for
it's
Jordan,
genius
right?
though. He said it though, because he also, as funny as it is, he talked smack, but then he turned around and was like, "Yo, my kids love Jordan.
Yeah.
They respect Jordan. They idolize him. They gonna play hard for him. And like, you gotta think, man. As a GM, you're looking at that and like, hold up, I already got one of them, so I got a point guard. I can pick up another 2 guard and a 3. You know what I mean? Like right off the
And
bat.
you just like one big man away.
And I forgot who
Especially in
else.
the East. The East ain't that crazy.
You don't. I mean, the way the game is now, you don't really need like a big.
Well, you don't,
You
but
need
I'm
somebody
just
to go get
saying.
some rebounds and play some defense. That's about it.
That's
PJ
it.
Tucker is 6'6". He could do that, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know. I respect it. So to see that thing come full circle, I'm like, he built a whole brand and got a whole other line of stuff coming.
What happened to the shoes? The shoes are gone though, right? They don't
Shoes
do the
aren't gone.
No,
They
they're not
gone.
gone.
All they did was they revamped everything. So they're rebrand, like it's still Big Baller brand. They remaking shoes, all that. But the youngest Melo signed with Puma. But this is what people don't understand. Like, see, he left his dad. He's smart, and he's like, no, y'all don't understand. This is still our family. So he ain't left nothing.
Yeah.
Right.
So whatever I'm doing over here, still gonna be. These kids was millionaires before they got to the league.
Mm-hmm.
So they get to focus on hooping. They don't gotta worry about brand deals, and if they take this deal away, and like,
Yeah.
they gotta. I mean, I went to a high school that was sold out to see LaMelo play, and it was Big Baller stuff outside, pop up shop. I mean, and the kid. So while we be like, man, and you walk in there, everybody wearing, maybe the shoes take some time, right? I'm just saying, right? You made some shoes. Maybe they take. I just ordered some shoes from a guy online that makes shoes. Just because I was like, man, these shoes look dope. I think I showed them to you before. Rock Deep or something. But I'm like, I'm open to the opportunity of I'm going to try something different.
Mm-hmm.
Because yes, Nike makes great. Yeah, Jordans. Okay, I get it. But who's to say there can't be something else?
Right.
But what we'll do is say, oh, that's bootleg, or that's not real, or that's not right. Well, there's other people out there.
Well, where did Nike come from, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's how they started. Same concept, right?
So we get so stuck in that when it's something else, oh man, what are those? And I'm like, cool, because I watched dude for a while, and I was like, man, these shoes are dope. Like I wouldn't buy all of them, but there's a good
Those
6-7
Rock
pair
Deep
that I'm
ones
like,
They're
this guy,
super
man,
cool.
and he gets online live. Let's integrity. He got on there. I pre-ordered some shoes that don't come out till January. I'm not even a shoe person like that. I ain't no sneakerhead. I can't tell you what Jordan. I got on something. I don't know what number this is. They was free. That's what number it was to me. $3.99. You know what I mean? But there was a certain pre-order price or whatever, and I was like, man, I'm gonna just pay it. Even though in the back of my mind, I'm like, man, I don't really be doing shoes like that. Dude got on Instagram Live and was like, man, it's been on my spirit heavy that I charge too much for this shoe. So I'm taking, it was like $50 or something off. And I'm giving anybody who pre-ordered is getting that $50 back because it just didn't sit right with me. And I was like, I'll fuck with you.
Yeah.
Off of that alone. Because he didn't have to do nothing. He could have said, oh, you get a credit for the next shoe.
Right.
Something. He was like, nope. That money will be refunded back to whoever already ordered the shoes, and then whoever orders moving forward, this is what it's going to cost.
Mm-hmm.
But I felt like that was too much.
Really?
Yeah. And I'll do a box opening or something when I get it. But I ordered 2 pairs of shoes from dude.
Mm.
And just like Puma with Melo, who wear Pumas? Really?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody want to be Nike and Jordan.
Like, I'll be honest, I didn't know Puma made basketball shoes.
I didn't either.
I didn't tell you. He told me.
Vince Carter too, I think, had signed with them
Back in the day, but...
Yeah, back in the day, they
His is
hooped
still
in
out-
Converse.
his is
Right.
still out though now. The Clyde joints. I mean, I picked them up just because somebody put me onto them, and I was like, I put them on. I was like, yo,
It's
these
comfortable.
low key comfortable. They ain't a little heavy, but they're comfortable.
Right.
But I
Like
mean,
boots.
huh?
Huh?
Kinda. They look like the NBA. I ain't gonna lie. They look a little bit like the NBA 2K starter joints.
That's-
The white with the black.
When you
stripe.
first start your career, man, you better wear these little
Like, dang, I gotta wear these. Yo.
Air Jerusalems.
Yo. But now you're right, man. And I guarantee you, bro, it's gonna sell, man. As soon as he drops a line, people gonna buy him. You know what I mean? I mean, look at when Curry signed with Under Armour.
Right, they wasn't no shoe company
They
like
weren't-
that. And then
man.
all the kids, I go to AAU tournaments.
Everybody wearing them.
They sold football cleats. Remember the click-clack commercial?
Yeah,
Remember that?
they
were big on the football.
Well, that's their target is football, and then I think they got later on they got into military
Well,
and a
and-
couple other things, and
Because New Balance signed with Kawhi Leonard.
yeah.
That ain't work out too well. I don't think.
New Balance has never been a great. I don't know. I think they've tried it before in the past, and I don't.
But can you imagine having your own shoe? I guess is my
Yeah.
point. Like, yeah, their shoes was not great. The Big Ball or whatever.
No, I think it's dope
right?
because even like when you look at Klay Thompson, his joints. I don't even know who his sneaker company sound like an AC company or something, like overseas AC unit company or something like. I don't know what that IKEA or something. I don't know what it is, man. But it's even with that, like he's still an outside source. So yeah, I think to that point it's dope, bro. Like, nah, these are mine. Like,
Right.
I built them, we designed them from scratch. You know what I mean? And I think I think the only person who ever had that was Jordan.
That's what I'm saying. It was one, and then it's like, man, nobody could ever. Like, somebody else gotta have something.
Nah, it's just
So that next generation is gonna be like, bro, I want to be part of Big Baller Brand.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody ain't gonna be Jordan. They're gonna be like, I want to be part of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean Jordan's like that. Like that is such an iconic sneaker that it's always gonna be. But you're absolutely right. Like a lot of these kids nowadays, because you do like ever since Puma dropped those I forgot what they call, man. But they're the ones that look like Yeezys almost. You know what I mean? They're kind of like the bigger, the dad shoes or whatever.
Why are you looking at me? Why are you looking at me?
Hey, I got a bunch of pairs of the Yeezy dad ones, but like,
Dad ones.
you know what I mean? I even got a pair of the Monarchs. I got. Y'all remember that? But nah, it's. I mean, it's true. These kids. I mean, people are rocking sneakers that nobody ever wore before.
Well, think about Champion. When I grew up, if you wore Champion, they was like, man, that's trash. You got that at the corner.
But even crazier though, man. Like Champion was like the hoodies. I'm talking about the classic, like the solid classic with the original OG. Man, those were like corner store. Like everybody had them joints on the East Coast, but like even then it was like $20. Now I go to like some of these stores, I'm like, yo, I'm not paying $70 for this brand that died out and ended up at the dollar store, and all of a sudden now
and
like,
now
It's back.
because it took what one rapper, somebody
Yep.
of influence was like, rock this,
Yep.
and then boom. So why wouldn't you do that to your own?
yeah.
That's how.
No, I believe it, man. I think they're definitely gonna have, if they do it right, it can be something major. You know what I mean? But if they cannot afford another setback like they did the first round, if it comes out, because that I mean when you start talking real like when you start talking about the retail industry, like that's just do or die. If you're dropping a new line, like it has to hit. Because if it doesn't, and you got everybody's attention, and then you lose it, like that.
But I think that's what the difference is, right? Now you got 3 boys in the NBA. Like, there's people who rock with Jello, there's people who rock with Zoe, and there's people who rock with Melo. And so, like, yeah, you had a setback. That's gonna happen in anybody's business, right? It's about the bounce back. Like, oh man, this happened. So do we throw in the towel because it didn't just because the shoes exploded or because they said whatever, or what did they do? Got rid of whoever was doing all that snake stuff, got with a whole new team of people. That's why I watched the show. Because I'm like, there's other stuff happening who design way better clothes, way better shoes, way better. This dude talking about putting out car rims and everything. You think kids ain't gonna be like, I'm gonna get the Big Baller Brand rim? That's gonna happen.
Right.
Because all it takes is for one of them to pull up.
Right.
I got my own rims. Check.
Here's the thing, the business model is going to change. The business model back in the day of Jordan was, I'll give you whatever, $25 million, and then you're going to wear my shoes, and everybody's going to buy them because you're wearing them. The business model is going to be different now. The business model is going to be, you're a shoe manufacturer, we're going to partner together, I'm going to get a percentage of all the shoe sales, and I'm going to promote it myself. And it's going to be on me. There's no middleman in the way. There's no, I mean, did Jordan make more money if they sold more shoes? Probably not. I think he just got a flat fee. Here's how much you get to promote the shoes. And if they sold 1 pair or 10 million pairs, you got the same amount of money, right? It's going to be different now. And you see that in every industry. It's not just in, but I think it's going to change. Right, yeah. So I think that these kids are going to have a different opportunity. So they can't all go to Nike, right? They got to go different places. So I think you're going to see a lot of that. And you're going to see these small shoe companies just pop up.
But that's what I'm
nowhere,
saying.
Right?
He even said, I'm going to offer Chad a percentage of the company. And nobody doing that.
I'm gonna take. I mean,
he's not going to give you the bootleg shoe. I'll give you a percentage of the company.
I'm gonna take that. I mean, it depends on who you're asking, right? Because like if I'm super struggling from the hood and I ain't got no money, you owe me $100 million. I'm taking $100 million. However, if you're gonna tell me, hey, I'm gonna give you $5 million cash in equity. Right, I'm gonna go with that.
But everybody's situation is different, right? Yeah, and it depends on who I am too, right? Am I the last guy on the bench?
But that's right. So you're not looking at the dude that came straight out of Duke, #1, whatever.
Right.
It might be this other kid over here that's cold, but Nike don't want to give him a shoe deal.
Right.
So that market is like it's gonna be bigger than the 3 brothers. Now he pulling in.
I mean, it's happening, like you said earlier, with the different industries. I mean, in the music industry, it's like that. Back in the day, it was you had to like create a demo. You had to go to these record labels and somehow
Pop the trunk on.
pop the trunk of the record, try to get in, you know
That
what I'm
East
saying?
40.
Like, figure out a way to get in there and play this, you know what I mean, on the speaker head so everybody can hear it and hope that you get something.
Debo in there like LL Cool J,
You know
Crush
what I mean?
Groove.
But like now,
closed. No, he's there with the radio.
Because of social media and everything, they changed. They like the artist forced the hand of these record labels, and they're still, you know, they're business guys. They're gonna make their money however they do. But it was interesting the shift that it became from that to where now record labels aren't even investing in you until you can say, I have X amount of followers,
So
I
many,
sold X
so many
amount of
downloads,
sales,
whatever.
I've done this, and this.
right.
So it's like,
Yeah.
what are you doing on your own
Right.
for me to invest my money into you?
Right.
You know what I mean? So, and it's the same that's happening, like you're saying with these guys. Like, yeah, there's gonna be those kids that, you know, maybe these guys are, you know, aren't NBA all-time All-American and this and that, but they still good players. They still, you know what I mean, doing their thing. And I mean,
And then they not broke after
not
their
broke.
career or they get an injury.
Right.
They own something. That's the biggest thing is the ownership is not there. And at the end of it, I'm like, man, there's beauty in social media and the fact that the middleman is gone. We say we don't like change. Everyone says that. Oh, back in my day. It's inevitable. It's gonna happen regardless.
Right.
If we sit and talk to our parents, they're gonna tell us this, and this.
Yep.
When we took a look at it, I'd be like, man, y'all listen to some trash. But I can go back and be like, okay, yeah, this was trash. We had trash too, right?
Yep.
So it's like finding that, like, but that middleman thing is not like me going to an audition and hoping somebody pick me for a commercial or a music video or to get a photo shoot. You had to go somewhere and be seen by photographers and say, man, I like that dude's look. Hey, here's my card, set something up.
Yeah.
Where now you just set up your
You had to
phone
pay for it.
and I had to pay
Right.
or you trade it, right? Because they was trying to grow their portfolio, but there was no social media, so we just traded pictures.
Yep.
You do the picture, I'm gonna tell my friends about you. That's just word is bond. Like I'm gonna tell people.
Man, you
That's
like a
it.
Pokemon card.
Yeah.
People were just trading
That's
around.
it.
Yeah.
And that's what it was. So running to auditions all the time and what,
Hey,
man.
Pokemon
And then you get that phone call like, hey, we need you here this day, this time.
Yeah.
Where now you can make a post on your phone and get paid for posting for said company.
Right.
Hey, I need you to wear my Arsenal and post to your, here go $500 per post.
Yep. Bro, who was it on the David Letterman show? And he asked Kim Kardashian how much you get paid for a post.
Yeah.
He was like, I forgot what number he said, and she was like, she just kept pointing up like, bro, these people getting paid millions of dollars just to make one post.
But that's why
That's crazy.
I think that sometimes being quote unquote older, we have to look at the benefits of social media, not just to go on there to rant or like I joke and whatever. Right.
You can make some money on this.
So it's like, you know, we got workouts on demand and he hit me like, or no, was it you said? Yeah, you sent me the screenshot like, yo, it's 2 people in Kenya.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That wouldn't have happened ever before. At least you wouldn't know about it.
No, dude, it's genius,
You know what I'm saying?
man. Like I said this a while back. I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, and I was like, you know, like even though technically I guess I still fall under that category of the new millennials and all that. You know what I mean? But my growth and what I experienced was completely different. I feel like you're always a generation behind.
Right.
If that makes sense, right? Like I grew up listening to all those, you know, to like the lifestyle of the 80s, you know what I mean, so to speak, and then into the 90s. Even though I'm born more in, you know, I was 87. But anyhow,
Shit, man, I got socks older than you.
Mismatch ones too.
no, but you know, it really made me look at it, man, and I said, you know, these kids are onto something, right? Because this is where that middle that I spoke about earlier, that being the middle, the bridge between the two, right? The generation before us was always taught, yo, you gotta save. You gotta save, you gotta go to school, you gotta do this, you gotta save, work hard, save. But then you 65, 70 years old, and then, you know, half of them don't even make it to that age, or they do make it and they don't have the money, whatever.
Right.
So a part of me is kind of like, yo, these kids kind of figured it out, man. They learned to live today because they understand that tomorrow's not promised, right? So I'm on board with that about, you know, 50%, because I still think you still need to have a backup plan, right? Like you still need to have some sort of investments and certain things. But I do respect that. Like because of the social media and everything that's going on, they're kind of like, yo, like listen, I'm gonna live now. You know what I mean? I'm gonna go if I'm gonna go get the yachts and rent the Lamborghinis and everything that's going on, I'm gonna go do it now.
But they have the access to the information too. Like, how do you rent a yacht? We didn't know. Unless Freddie B pulled up in the yacht to teach, right? Like, hey, like, what's up? And we run, you know what I'm saying? The skipper life. And then we go with him a few times, and then he say, hey, by the way, this is how you do X, Y, and Z. It's the same as when we talk business and whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't know what I don't know.
Right.
So I say, hey, this is what I want to create. I'm a creative. This is what I want to create. This is how I want to impact the world. This is how I want to influence people's lives, inspire people. And then he's like, all right, well, that's cool, but this and this and this and this. And I'm like, this sounds like Chinese to me. What you talking about? So if you don't have that, now you have access. You just Google stuff. Oh, my thing ain't working. YouTube it. Oh, it's fixed now. I don't even got to call somebody, really, unless I just don't want to do it.
Right.
How to? 5-minute video. Done.
Bro, there's plenty of people that graduated from the University of YouTube.
Yeah.
For free.
And they make it, but I watch people, I have friends who are doing it, and people who aren't, that I don't even know, I just watch. And I'm like, people are making a living.
Yeah. Well,
from sitting in their chair at home.
Well, that's where you beg, that's where, like Gary Vee talks about that all the time. And he mentions like the fact that, you know, don't be out here saying that you can't make no money.
Right.
If you really wanted to, I could take this, I could sand it down, you know what I mean? I could repaint it and try to sell it somewhere. Somebody's gonna pay for it, you know what I mean? And if I got it, if Freddie gave it to me for free, I just made a come up, right? I made 100% profit.
Right.
So it's like there's always a way to make money.
You're trying to take my table, bro.
I really like the table. I feel like I can make some good money. I'm not
Offer up.
You know what I mean?
There's too many opportunities.
There's too many opportunities.
If you don't want to make money, it's because you're lazy.
There's always OnlyFans. I don't care. You can always get money on
want to talk
OnlyFans.
about it?
There's always money in the banana stand. You can always get the OnlyFans when you want.
I didn't see that coming, Freddie B.
At all.
I mean, I got mine like set up, but now I ain't picked up the joint all the way, bro. I got the just in case buttons ready. You know what I'm saying? This thing don't
This
work
is
out.
why the topic of the show. Y'all want to talk
Yeah,
about
what's
it?
up?
Fred, you want to talk about it, bro? He said there's always a way.
Listen, I'm just saying. If you're desperate enough, right?
No, it's
What was
true.
the dude? Does the dude make $500,000 a month?
I think you told me that. Yeah, you told me that. So is that what you said?
It was something like
It's a crazy number.
a month to just show his booty hole.
Wow.
Yo,
It's the
there's
dude.
some weird people that
It's the dude out there though. He used to be a scam artist, but now he's teaching people how to legally do a business, and he's making about $400,000 on OnlyFans.
See?
People
So
just
everybody
come on
ain't doing reckless stuff.
Yeah, he's just teaching people about business, but people
Yeah.
going in there. He a hood dude, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So people in the streets respect him more or whatever, and he's just charging people to teach them the regular business stuff that they can probably learn on YouTube.
Yeah.
But he's walking you through like how to start your LLC, how to get your own business license, you got to get a loan.
That's what's missing. I mean, we've had these conversations before. That's what's missing.
Yeah.
As when we was growing up, you didn't have them conversations.
Right.
It was you join the military, you go to school.
Yeah.
And hopefully at 65 you saved, and then you can try to enjoy the rest of your life, whatever's left of it. So the mentality now is like, nah, man, we're gonna enjoy this while we're on the journey.
Right.
We're not waiting until, you know, like, I mean, I've been blessed. Like, I haven't worked nobody's 9 to 5. And
Ever. Maybe since you were at the Fila store.
the Fila store, and when I was at Direct Buy, and that still only last. Yep, that still only last. Direct Buy lasted me probably about 6-7 months, and ever since then it's just been fit. Like, you know, it's been that journey, but it wasn't all
Right.
It's better now, but I have people around me that show, hey, this is how you can make a living, not just, oh, I'm doing this and on the side of the side, and I'm trying to hopefully one day maybe I can. It's a different world. I don't like sitting and talking about numbers. Man, I don't like none of that stuff. He knows.
His face just glazed over.
I'm just like, oh my God, bro, why is it so difficult?
Yeah.
9-1.
Here's a spreadsheet, and he's like,
Bruh, yeah. It's like a headache. But I'm getting more into like, okay, this has to be done.
Right.
So then if somebody younger or one of my boys actually called me and said, you're the only person I know with the LLC. How do you do it? Because I don't know nobody. You're the first person I thought of. And then that light bulb went off. It's like, oh man, I really gotta be paying attention because other people are in the same position I was in.
Yeah.
Great ideas, great. They have the knowledge, the wisdom, the experience,
Right.
and they trying to put stuff together.
Mm-hmm.
There was this thing I read the other day. This dude is on YouTube, and it's called Dad Advice, like advice from. He goes, I didn't have a dad growing up, and he goes, so I don't know how to do things like how to change a tire, how to fix the
I think
toilet,
I've
all
seen
that
that
kind of
guy.
stuff,
It's pretty
right?
dope.
So he's got a lot of followers. He had no idea how to monetize that. He's like, I'm still working my job, whatever he's doing, but he said, I'm putting these videos together because somebody finally was like, dude. Let me explain this to you. You have this many followers on YouTube. You shouldn't have a regular job.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it's
And it
stuff
probably
like that
took somebody, millennial or whatever, to show.
to show them. Yeah.
That's why I left. I'm like, yo, teach me something, because that ain't I mean,
Yeah.
we lived in both worlds.
Yeah.
Absolutely, man. It's a different game, man. So it's like you walk, for us, we walk a thin line between like, man, that's a scam. Or, you know what I mean? Like,
That's my
I'm
pet
listening to
peeve,
you.
low key though.
You know what I mean? Like,
I hate that.
well, yeah.
When you offer like an opportunity for somebody to make money, and the initial response or reaction is, man, that's a scam.
Yeah.
Really?
Or you hear the other one that you hear a lot of is like, well, that's not longevity. That's not gonna last forever. Get in and get out. You know what I mean? Like you hear some business guys that are, you know, millionaires, they talk like that. They're like, well, listen, man, that's great that you're making, you know, 20, 30 grand a month or whatever, but like, that's not gonna hold off forever. So like, listen, man, do it for a year or two, get out, get your money, go invest it in something else. And it's like, you know, what works for you, you know, it's not gonna work for everybody else. Some other kid can, you know, these kids nowadays, like they're figuring out ways to make moves. I mean, in the barber industry, you see it all the time. You got kids that got 2 years under their belt. You know what I'm saying? And they're platform artists. They got the following, they're putting on these shows and this and that. And like, you know, for me, I mean, it's a different world because that's just what people are, you know.
I was behind a dude in traffic at Scottsdale and Shea the other day. He's got his pickup truck all with the wrap on it, and it was tattoo and barbershop and his Instagram handle right on the car. And I'm like,
Yeah.
wow, Dino needs to get that.
'Cause-
Dino needs to up his game with his car, with his truck. Like, he needs to
Yeah.
get right.
Because that's the world we live in.
Yeah.
You see Nate's car? You ever see Nate's car? My boy Nate Jackson? Wrapped. And he wrapped it back in like 2011 because I came from Miami, where that's what I saw in Miami on South Beach.
Miami was doing it, boy.
Trucks wrapped, SUVs wrapped. Ain't nobody know who Flo Rida was. We was like, who's Florida? Who's that guy? And then next thing you know, at Ace Hood, you see these vans and whatever wrapping. I was like, Nate, down there they be. And he made some little bit of money on some shows. What he just driving a Chevy Malibu. I'm gonna find on wrapped his face, his everything. Super fun NateJackson.com all over the car. So everybody in the state know that car.
Okay, quick,
You get me?
quick
Yeah.
tangent. You gotta drive real careful. You can't cut nobody off. If you got your face over your own car, you can't.
His face is all over it, too.
Anybody
You're
with
trying to
that.
run off
feel
the
you.
constantly. He's not even gonna chase that.
Right.
But I got the video camera. Just that's him.
Yeah, the
That's
funny
the
guy. Yeah, we got his ass. But that's
What's
the
his name
thing
right
now,
now?
right? Like people be like, oh, you know, sometimes people ask, oh, you got a business card? I'm like, nope, I got an Instagram.
Yeah.
And that's what they look at. It's like your resume.
People who ask if you got a business card, are they older than me? They gotta be older than me. Who asked you for a business card?
I just went to a vegan restaurant Friday night, and the lady asked, you got a business card? I was like, no, here's my Instagram. And she'll probably cater the event on January 9th.
I still get asked for business
Yeah,
cards,
man.
though.
Yeah.
I still get asked.
So you don't feel like business cards is outdated?
Hell no. That to me is the greatest marketing tool out there, bro.
We can agree to disagree.
I think, and I'll tell you even better one
My
is word of
greatest,
mouth.
what I was gonna say, third party is
No,
number
word of
one.
mouth is number one. But I think business cards, if done right, here's the thing. When I designed my business card, I designed it with one purpose and one purpose only. If you found it on the ground, because I know that's exactly where it was gonna end up, right? With any business card. Oh yeah, cool. And they just chuck it. I just figured if I can design a card that you see on the ground and it makes you pick it up, then I got it. You know what I mean? That's an opportunity. So I invested in that. So that's why you see my cards, they're solid, it's squared, it's got my face, cutting hair. So you ain't got to question, you know what I mean? Who is this guy, right? Because how many times, how many business cards have you been given And then you go through when you clean out your wallet, you're like, who is this guy, Jared?
Yeah.
Greg.
I just have a shoebox full of business
you know what I
cards.
mean? So,
And that's why I'm like, man, I don't. Yo, let me see your Instagram. I can see your work.
But
See,
now,
that's
like,
it.
even in professional situations, someone tries to give me their business card. I'm like, nah, it's good. I got it. What's your email address? That's what I need to know.
Yeah.
I don't want it. Don't give me your business card. I don't
But
want it.
even to that extent too, it's the same, right? Email. These kids, this new generation, they don't use email.
They want
No,
your
they want your
Instagram.
social media.
Yeah.
But what ended up transitioning is for some of the people that use business cards, it became email. What's your email? Because that's a quick way to access things. But I'll be honest with you, man. Like, and you know, by no means am I saying that I'm fully booked out and I'm this. You know what I mean? It takes me 3 months for you to get an appointment. No, I'm not. I'm just an average barber. But I have built in the last 2.5 years my entire clientele base off of my business cards and word of mouth. I have not invested any money into social media marketing, into Instagram.
But that's what I'm
none of
saying.
that.
You don't even have to.
No.
It'll speak for itself. If people, if someone
Yeah.
say, "Oh, this is if I say that's my barber," one, they gonna look at me first. They see me already, so I don't have to. Here's his Instagram,
Yep.
because that's what they doing anyway.
But to that point, let me correct myself on what I said. I never used it, right? Meaning I didn't use it to market or promote. However, my Instagram is well put together.
You do
You see
really
what I'm
nice
saying?
job.
So I make sure that when that happens,
Yeah.
they go on there because I do, man. Listen, man. I'm a Latin dude from the East Coast. Like I've been the dude from barbershop. You know what I mean? My entire life, like.
Is that velvet?
Yeah, no, yeah. They looking at him like he cuts brothers' hair. Like, nah.
Gotta be
he-
$8,
You know what I
right.
mean? So I've always been that in the 4 years that I've been cutting hair. But my work has always spoke highly of it. My clients have spoke highly of it. But then I've also used that art of like, one of my professors in school was the one that taught me this. Indian guy, amazing business guy. But he was telling me, I was explaining, I became the topic of the class because we were talking about small businesses. And so he used me a lot as examples. And I was telling him, I was like, because I was about to invest into a marketing company to like help promote my stuff. And he was like, listen, man, forget all of that. Yeah. All that demographics and all of that, if that doesn't pertain to your business, then don't use it. I'm not saying it doesn't, right? Because it does for many people. But in my perspective, he was like, you need to find what is the value, what is the X factor of your shop, what is driving business to your shop. What I realized where we live at, right, in Scottsdale, it's all about reviews, right? It's reviews. That's the first thing people do. New restaurant comes up, what's the reviews, right? So it was like, that was, to me, I triggered that, and I'm like, man. And then he asked me, he goes, because then I immediately was like, well, I'll incentivize my clients to leave a review. He goes, why? He goes, whatever happened to the most simple art in history? Just ask.
Yeah.
Hey man, you mind taking 2 minutes while you're getting this haircut? You know what I'm saying? Like,
I ain't never wrote no reviews.
Just a second. But we're gonna pause this for a second while we all get our phone out.
Walking billboard, you see it's clean in
You know what I
these
mean?
streets.
Like, you didn't have to.
Don't
'cause
play
you brought me
yourself.
somebody else. You brought me.
Right.
Look at prime example. It started with him, and then you brought me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, now I'm with you. And like, and that's just the connection of how it works. So for me, I think social media is a beautiful tool, man. Like, I mean, it is the most scariest but yet beautiful thing that's out there.
Yeah.
But I think you have to understand how it works and if it can work for you. Like for you, it works. You know what I'm saying? And it can work for anybody.
Right.
But you just have to figure out where you want to focus your energy on.
It works for me because I was doing it before.
Right.
So word of mouth was working for me before there was a social media. You know what I mean? Where I'm in the garage with 3 people and now there's 5. And now 8 people want to come from 30 minutes away to be in my, right? So it's always been, yo, I moved here, I don't know nobody.
Yep.
So 2 people show up to class. Hey, bring somebody else next time. Okay, because they're going to do whatever you say. That's why I do this. In the cool down, and I do spirit fingers and watch hella swole grown men do this. And then I'll be like, I'm just playing. I want to see if you trust me. So now I know I got your trust. Come back and bring your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your side chick, your side dudes, your tender favorite hands, hook up first cousin, second cousin, kissing cousins, frenemies, whatever you got, right? And then somebody comes and say, I brought my homegirls with me because you said that third part, that word of mouth, because they trust their friend's word.
More than anything
They
else.
might be like, oh, I heard about her. Oh, yeah, it's a workout class. and people just assume they already know. But when he says to me, "Oh, nah, that's okay, fine."
I want to know sometime when somebody shows up and go, "Hey, I brought this person to class. They're my Tinder favorites." Has that ever happened?
Nah, they don't. Listen, I'm gonna tell you what. They won't say that, but I will get the. Hey, I'm bringing my boyfriend, so like kick his ass, cause I've been talking about you for months, and he thinks it's gonna be easy. So, and then they come in, and I'm like, all right, what's up? And they either love it and they come back because they want to fight, or they never come back because this is too much. Because they see. But usually it's the girls who come to me and say, there's a guy I'm interested in, I'm bringing him. Because I was like, yeah, it's a great place for a first date, as a workout. You'll learn a lot about somebody when they're working out. And when the dudes can't hang.
Who goes to your class for a first date? That's the worst first date ever.
Man, when dudes chasing the skirt, they're going to do whatever.
Facts.
Dude don't never hike. She want to hike, he going hiking.
No, I understand.
Dude don't watch The Notebook. He gonna watch The Notebook.
I understand.
18 hours of nothingness.
Can you imagine going to his class, never been to his class before? I don't know about you guys, the first time I went to his class, I was on the floor dying. I was lying on the floor. I'm like, I'm gonna die.
If a girl take me to his class for the first time,
you gotta look like you're doing it all, right?
She better be bad as shit.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Yes.
But if she is,
I'm there.
because you gotta think, the girls in my class are in phenomenal shape.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Right? So if they're attractive on top of that, that's what be breaking dudes, because they be like, I just got my ass kicked by a room full of women. Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
And it's an ego and a pride check. That's why I'm like, yeah, bring them.
Yeah.
Because the dudes come in with the wrestling dude.
That's the story I was gonna tell. So
Bella Twins' brother.
the brother from the Bell Twins, he comes in and he's right beside me.
Bruh.
And he has weights that are lighter than my wife's weights. And I look at him, I go, bro.
And he's jacked.
He's
respect to him. We ain't hating.
Yeah,
Respect. This dude is
big,
jacked.
strong guy, right? Yeah. So I'm like, hey, bro, you gotta get heavier weights. Like, look, my wife's got heavier weights. And he's like, okay. So he goes and he comes back. I mean, halfway through the class, he's sitting down. He can't do it.
He just sat down like one Indian style. Just,
I'm done.
bro, this is too much.
Yeah, it's too hard.
And I was like, wow.
And, like, we're checking. We're like, Anna turns out, she's like, are you okay? Like, are you gonna be okay? He's like, I'm fine. Yeah, I'm fine. So so that's what I'm saying.
But I try to warn the guys if like that was a special
we didn't
situation.
Know
We didn't even know who he was. But usually I get the guys that come in, they grab the heaviest weights, and I'm like, listen, bro, you don't want to do that. Do you want baby weights? No.
They don't get the fives.
But don't get the fives, but also don't get the 40s.
Because you're not 65.
Don't get the 85s. He had to work his way up to that. That's why I don't have to say nothing to him, because I watched it progress. But they come in with that, oh man, it's going, and then in the warm up, they start going ham and cheese. Yeah. And they looking around the room and they're like, yeah. And I'm like, you're not gonna make it. And then so 20 minutes in, they done walked out 5 times. They coming back, they walking out, or they never come back. And I'm like, yo, your dude already, I'll go to the girl, he good. Yeah, we'll check on him later. He'll be fine. But they see the bar is here.
Yeah.
Because most dudes think, oh, group fitness, they just dancing, they whatever. And it's not like that. So like,
it's work.
So I like having guys in class because it's a different energy. But it's not on some, but if you on some ego stuff, it's just going to get broke down. Like this is what's going to happen.
Not for a first date. That's a trap. If a girl says, come to this group fitness class that I'm doing for a first, this is advice from me. If a girl says, come to this group fitness class that I'm doing, don't go. As a first date. Don't do that.
So on that note, I'm guilty of that. My dumb ass went to a spin class, and I thought I'd be slick.
See?
True story. I thought I'd be slick, so I sat in the back of class. And then I'm sitting there and they start doing the one more thing and all the girls coming in, they doing their stuff. And I was with a friend of mine or whatever, and I'm just watching this whole thing. And next thing I know, man, the whole shit, all you hear is like, when like the fucking lights come off and like
Yeah,
shit smoking and y'all ready to get down? I'm like, yo, I didn't know what to experience. I'm thinking, I'm gonna be staring at beautiful, like, nah, man. I literally,
War.
next thing I knew, I was locked in on the bike, and I'm like, yo, what's going on, man? And we in there getting it, and yo, music just pumping. And next thing I know, I look, the girl's like, no hands, and she's like, lean to the left, and she just riding lean to the right, and I'm like, yo. 5 minutes into it, yo, I'm on the bike like, the girl tell me why the instructor walks up next to me and like covers the mic. She's like, thought you was just gonna look at ass today, huh? Walk past, yo.
No
I
way.
promise you, man. Listen, that was the greatest. That was probably one of the greatest butt whoopings I've ever got.
Yeah.
Besides taking your class, but like, yeah. Trying to
That's
be
humble
slick, man.
pie.
So lesson learned,
don't
fellas.
do that, Chad.
go
Man,
chasing.
go on the first date, man.
Like,
Don't
go to
be
a movie
stupid.
or something like that, you know.
So boring.
I'm just
Is
saying.
the movies even open?
I don't know.
Oh, exactly.
No, but Chad.
Netflix and chill. Just
We
you
doing
know what I'm
mints on
saying?
my first dates.
See?
I'm in here popping.
We're doing mints.
You can rent a whole theater now for like $99. Just do that.
See, that's too much. Then they be like, yeah. we
Listen,
gonna
if a
get
girl
married,
takes
we
me
gotta
to
take it. You went to the whole movie theater for you think you special and shit. Now
Yeah, you gotta. We'll talk about that on the net. You gotta work out, bro. I can't. Like if you don't want to work out and be active, I'm just call it shallow.
I'm just
I
saying.
know first date, no. Third date.
If a girl
Oh,
takes
wait,
me,
time
if
out.
a girl
You
takes me
go
on
from you talking about don't go to a group fitness to rent out the whole movie theater. What are you talking about right now? Like you setting the bar too high, rent out the movie theater,
Yeah, yeah. What you trying to prove?
the whole theater.
What's
I guess
after
it
that?
depends on who.
Renting the whole
It depends
restaurant?
on who it is.
Cause how do you follow that?
Right.
Yeah.
The
How do you
whole
follow
shit.
renting the whole movie theater? The next date is what? It can't be Netflix and chill.
It gotta be a plane or something. You gotta rent a plane out.
A helicopter, something.
The way my check
A submarine?
I don't know about that, but
That yacht you pulled up in, we gotta do something. Anyways, all right,
This could go on forever.
This
Somebody's gonna
can.
have to stop this.
we're gonna stop it
All
until
right.
the next one. But
this is dope.
Freddie B, Young Dino, Barber Extraordinaire, Chad's in the building. That's it. We talked about it. So stay tuned for the next episode of Y'all Want to Talk About It. Y'all can follow my Instagram, arsenalbykenyatta. I don't know if you want to give them yours.
Yeah, man, y'all can check me out at Oye_Dino. That's OYE_DINO.
Yeah.
Check me out, man. Shoot me a DM, whatever. Come
Yeah.
check me out.
Come get fresh.
Come get fresh.
Nobody cares about my Instagram, whatever.
Don't look for me. I got bills.
He goes.
Chad, what's your OnlyFans, Chad? What's your
Yeah, what's your
OnlyFans?
I got a pager. Don't call me.
Hey, y'all know NBA 2K when you creating a player, it's just the
Is
black
it the
screen.
look?
That's his
That's
Instagram.
Chad.
It's just a silhouette.
I see y'all on Twitter.
All right, y'all. Peace, love, and fire. We out of here.
Oh, man.